stupid because Robles is really, if things pan out, going to be the replacement for Harper.
Yep.
Yeah, he wasn't. I mean, guys that are on one-year deals left on this team. Now, I'm a big fan of moving guys on one-year deals, expiring deals, like when we moved Lester, because you could just get them in the offseason again, especially if you have a good relationship. But you guys give me a quick yay or nay on these guys, and then we'll wrap it up here. Matt Wieters.
Move
him. Adam Lynn.
Move him.
It shouldn't have even been signed.
Matt Adams.
Yeah, Matt Adams needs to be moved.
Daniel Murphy.
Moved.
No reason to keep him. You're not going to win.
Mark Reynolds.
Moved.
I don't know how he's
not going to be worth anything, but he may as well just...
Yeah.
He's in the top 10 all-time in putouts.
Yeah, I mean, just move or something, right? Bryce Harper. Obviously. UFA.
Obviously, you should move it. You should move him to anywhere, honestly.
Yeah, Gio Gonzalez.
Move him.
There's definitely value for Gio.
Yeah, I mean, he's a UFA, makes $12 million. I mean, you know he would fit in well with the Red Sox.
Yep.
I mean, he's got 3.70 ERA this year, so he's a little bit off. But I mean, last year 2.96.
Is he a lefty though? I thought he was a lefty. I could be wrong.
I don't think so.
Don't know actually. If he's a lefty, then he doesn't work as well.
Yeah.
But for the Red Sox anyway. But a team would like him, the Yankees maybe.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of teams that would maybe take him. So they should move Terry, but they won't. I don't think they will. Like, Austin's kind of in the same boat. And what do you think, Terry? Do you think they will?
I don't think so. I mean,
Yeah.
if their GM wasn't on the hot seat, then I think it becomes less complicated because he would be in a really intriguing spot because he gets to move these guys, possibly sign some of them back, build the farm even more. And, I mean, Real Muto is a great catcher, probably one of the best in the league. And, yeah, teams would want him, but he's not going to be Victor Robles. And he's not going to put out that type of, production.
Ideally, next year the Nationals outfield should be Robles, it should be Michael Taylor, and it should be Juan Soto. I don't believe any of those kids are over the age of 24, and it will be something for the Nats fans to cheer for and realize, hey, we have a future here.
Taylor's 27.
Taylor's 27?
Yeah, but still has 2 years left of arbitration. They also
he's under control. Well. He's going to be a National for the next 2 years.
Oh, 100%. And if Robles isn't ready, you have Eaton, Taylor, and Soto.
Right.
Center, left. There you go. So, I mean...
And they could still sign Harper, too, so...
Yeah, they could. And, I mean, starting pitching-wise, you still have Scherzer as your 1-2. So, I mean, you're set there. You have Doolittle in the pen. I mean, there's your closer.
Here's a question. Who scares you more of the Yankees getting... Harper or Scherzer?
Scherzer.
Yeah, I agree.
Like not even like a blink in the eye.
Postseason is all about pitching.
Yeah, you can give him Harper because then they run into the option of where you're going to fit him.
And it drains their farm system.
Yep, and the fact that he's batting
for nothing, basically
230 and hitting home runs, like he's either going to strike out or hit a home run, and that's just like the rest of their lineup anyway. So
Max Scherzer, I mean, he's Mad Max. So him and Chris Sale go back and forth for the best pitcher in the league the last 2 years, really.
Yeah.
They could put Sheffield in a Scherzer deal because of the years of control.
I like that kid.
What's that?
I said I hate that I like that kid. He's just a monster.
Yeah. It would also be scary for Scherzer because he has 3 years left of control after this. So
that's what I'm
seeing him for the next 3 years.
That's why I think they'd be willing to give up a big prospect for it.
I think it would take 2.
Yeah, and I would do it. I mean, you're essentially you'd be getting him for what the Red Sox got for Sale, basically. The
only difference is Sale's 30 and Scherzer's 34 currently under contract. Was 37.
A little older, but
he's shown no sign of slowing down. So
right.
What does it even matter?
I mean, is Chris Sale going to be pitching that good at 34, especially with the velocity?
Yeah, exactly. So like Scherzer, he's getting better as he's older.
He's like Verlander. They adapt.
Yeah, they do. I mean, like in 2015, he had a 2.79 ERA. 2016, 2.96. Last year, 2.51. Currently, 2.30. I mean. And he's at 200 strikeouts again this year, right now, on the dot.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting conversation 10 years from now to say who was the greatest. Was it Kershaw, Verlander, or Scherzer?
Or Sale.
Well, hopefully.
I think Sale's definitely in that conversation.
Oh, 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
it's awesome that there's a conversation, first of all.
Well, he definitely has to shake the late season slumps, though, really.
He does, but Kershaw hasn't really. He's only pitched one good game in the playoffs, technically.
Yeah. No, I just mean in August and September.
I feel like Halladay forever until he got to the Phillies. It was like, number one, he never really got to the playoffs, and it was like, well, can Roy Halladay pitch in September and October? And then what does he do in his first couple years in Philly? He throws a no-hitter against the Reds and wins the World Series.
I was going to say, just shut everybody the fuck down, basically.
Yeah, that's
People forget how
sad.
good he was.
Yeah.
He was really good.
He was like, his drug levels in his toxicology report were just astronomical, and I don't know if he was just being reckless with them or if he was really an addict and nobody knew it.
It could have been a lot of
We'll never
things.
truly know.
Yeah, you won't really know. I mean, honestly, I think it was like there was some Xanax in there and stuff like that. And I mean, if you go back and look at Tiger Woods' his quote-unquote DUI stop like last year, I think it was 2 years ago, it was because he mixed all his medications and was all fucked up. So it could have just been Holiday had one too many of a pill he takes all the time and was just a little out of whack.
Yeah, because there were no signs leading up to it.
Exactly, or he could have been a closet addict. You never know, but you won't know. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say he wasn't an addict because I feel like you would have heard something along the way from anything. And I don't know if a family as close as his that scene would let an addict fly a helicopter all the time. But then again, you never know. Could have been behind closed doors.
The one celebrity that is kind of comparable to that is I don't know how nerdy. Actually, he was on Moneyball. Actually, is Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh yeah,
just nothing. No history. No known history, I should say. You know, was extremely active, and then it's like, oh yeah, he OD'd on heroin or whatever, and it's like, what?
Yeah. I mean, Heath Ledger. I don't think he had a drug problem, right?
Probably not a known one. His might have just been a careless one. One time, wasn't it? Or
well, I'm pretty sure he killed himself. Like, I think from what I remember, he was so into the Dark Knight character that he became like the Joker. And when it was all said and done, he didn't know how to cope without being him. Something along the lines of that.
Oh wow, yeah, that's intense.
He got really invested in his own head, basically. But I don't think before that his roles were like he was like you look at some of the big name actors that are like, oh yeah, like Demi Lovato currently, like she's a known abuser in the past and had issues and went to rehab and stuff, and now she relapsed and just went back to the hospital because she OD'd on heroin like last week. So, but she was a known abuser and user, so
yeah.
I don't remember anything much about that. But yeah, you never know. Holiday is one of those guys that you'll never know about, sadly, but it's tragic regardless.
Yeah, it's still surprised. And the other thing, too, is when you watch the video, like, the bystanders get there kind of quick, but there was no real rescue attempt on their part. It would have been first instinct for me, but they didn't try to free him at all.
Little fight or flight with people.
Because I think the cause of death was drowning, so, his lungs were taken in air, while he was under there. So, just like I said, I mean, nothing will ever bring him back, but just so insanely sad and such a generational talent that, made a mark. 2 no-hitters in the postseason. Crazy.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I've literally been on mute for 2 minutes and didn't even know.
That's awesome. Hey, Austin, welcome to the podcast, man.
Like, I've literally been sitting here talking. I'm like, these assholes are ignoring me.
No.
It sounded natural, though. I didn't think you were gone. I just thought
it didn't sound like you were like, it didn't really sound like anything crazy.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess we can wrap on that. We got Price tomorrow. That could be a shit show. He might be brilliant. Who knows?
God, I hope he's good.
I have
Yeah,
this.
we got two shaky pitchers, boys.
I have this sneaking feeling that Pomeranz is just going to shine for whatever reason, and it's not going to make any sense.
don't.
And he's going to get shelved for the next couple starts after that. But I don't
My
know.
stomach tells me otherwise.
Yeah, probably, and we're probably gonna get no hit by Arrieta, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be Mania all over again.
Yeah, pretty much.
So are either of you predicting a Red Sox sweep?
No.
No.
We're
Okay.
splitting it.
All
That was
right.
the most negative series response we've had all year.
Yeah.
by
To
the
be
way.
honest with you, we're splitting at best because
Yeah.
I could easily see 2 games slip here because you don't know what you're getting out of Price. I'm assuming Pomeranz is just going to suck because he's giving me no reason to not believe he's going to suck. So I would, and let it be here. I am not going to start. Well, I don't think I'm going to be on the next podcast anyway. But I would not start the Yankee series all with my, all upset if we got these next 2 games swept this series. I don't think it's that big of an indicator of times to be worried about going into the Yankee series.
Oh.
Yeah. I'll be.
They just dropped 2 of the Royals, let's be real.
True.
Did they drop 2?
They either dropped 2 or they dropped 1.
I thought.
I think they dropped 1, but they were down.
A couple close calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were down
Yesterday
the
was a
second game of the
close
doubleheader.
call. Right.
Yeah, it was Greg Bird's solo shot in the 8th to tie it.
Yeah.
In the 8th. So
Why don't Yankee fans love him?
because he's the glass man.
Yeah.
And he goes on. He's like JBJ. All of a sudden he'll bat 200 for 2 months straight.
Yeah. I mean, they thought he was going to be the best or the most productive hitter last year because they didn't know Judge was going to emerge at the start of the season, and they were really thinking that it was going to be Bird's breakout year if he could stay healthy.
Yeah.
And then, of course,
If he can ever stay healthy, he probably had that breakout year because he'll go through the highs and lows, but he has no opportunity to go through the highs because he's always hurt and then coming back and then in a low, and then by the time he gets high again, he's hurt.
Right. Yeah, so...
I think best case scenario they win tomorrow. Otherwise they get swept. 'Cause I don't think I don't think they're winning on Tuesday.
I think...
No, I'll give Tuesday to the Phillies.
I think we did that whenever we put Pomeranz out there. So
I'm calling it right now. Drew Pomeranz, at a minimum, is going to pitch a complete game shutout this year, if not a no-hitter.
Tweet it. It's not true unless you
tweet it.
Tweet it right after this.
Here's the one positive, guys.
I don't think he's going 7 the rest of the year.
His arm is safe for the rest of the year. If he can get into a groove, there's no concerns with innings at this point, like there has been previously. So
no, very true. That's a very good point. If he can mentally figure it out, then he's a weapon.
And I think he kind of did. I mean, I liked his last start better than you guys did because it wasn't the same. He gave up 3 or 4 runs immediately, and then it was ugly for the next 3 innings. He was a little sloppy on a couple of pitches, and it just didn't.
Particularly curves.
Wasn't a great start, but yeah. So we'll see. I'd much rather have him as a 5 starter than Sean O'Sullivan and all those number 5 du jours we were having a couple years ago. So
hey, I'll take Brian Johnson as a number 5 starter.
I love BJ at this point.
He's doing what Pomeranz and O'Sullivan did a couple years ago. He's just going out there and getting it done. It's not pretty, but he's getting it done.
I just don't know how sustainable it's going to be, if he sees these teams again, which will mostly just be divisional teams. Yeah, and interestingly, the Orioles either swept the Rays or they won 3 in a row against them. I just don't know if it was a 3 or 4 game set, but they won 3 in a row, and they have the Yankees next, so...
They've already pretty much locked up the number 1 pick next year. So
go Baltimore.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and apparently we don't have to worry about Jones not being there for the whole series, so.
Yeah, he'll be there unless a miracle happens.
Yeah, exactly. Well, all right, guys, we'll get this uploaded and on the internet.
That was a doozy.
That was a good one, boys.
Yeah, have a good night, guys.
Have a good one.
Episode 67 in the books. Intriguing series against the Philadelphia Phillies, as we were just talking about. So hopefully we manage at least one of them.